I'm Mike Hayne, and I'm talking to myself to cure myself. Today is October 7th, 2022. The time, 9 a.m. October 7th, 2022, 9 a.m. The place, a rooming house, living among the poorest people. "15 miles east of the Las Vegas Strip, which is a over 55 community. Over 55, age 55, older than age 55 community, 55 up to 95, of what they call senior citizens. Thousands of them in mobile homes, 15 miles east of the Las Vegas Strip. And I agree with this, because the only other thing would be, at the end of somebody's life, euthanasia. What would you do? These are the baby boomers. Now, I guess that means it's a big population. Now, when I wake up, I'm a loser. And what we call by a loser, when I started out, when I was young, was we have certain standards. And we know what you're supposed to have, what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to graduate from college. You're supposed to marry a nice spouse. You're supposed to raise children. You're supposed to have a career. And you live your life, and you go through to the end. I'm 69. I'm going to be 69 in January. And you have these things. Even a car. I have a nice car. These are standards. Now, if I talk to many of my friends from 50 years ago, from high school, and they were draft dodgers, but they weren't nerds. I wasn't friends with the nerds. My friends beat up the nerds. I was never violent or very good at fighting. I'm 5'6". And I made friends with my tough, really active, cool friends who ended up rich and famous, a lot of them, in show business and everything. They are not. See, so what I say about myself is, I'm a loser. I didn't make it. I don't have the house on the coast, or even a yacht. I don't even know if any of them have yachts. So I'm living among the poor, but they are not totally poor. These are the people who worked their whole lives, and they did another thing you're supposed to do, I think, which I never did because I studied economics and history in college. And we know money is worthless. And I'm one of the top writers in the world. I was blacklisted. That's bad. That's a bad situation for me. I never uncovered it. I never found out what it was. I just went along with it, watched my movies coming out, not as good as I would have made them. Somebody else getting what they call the credit. Blacklisted, burglarized, and plagiarized. That's a loser. So I wrote Talking to Myself to Cure Myself. It's on Amazon. It's $12.95. It's 171 pages, and if you buy this book, not only are you buying something that's worthwhile, you're helping me out too. So that's something that I need to start in my old age if I'm totally poor, which I am, living among the poor, even though these people aren't as poor as me. These people saved up money and bought mobile homes. They each one have a mobile home. I never got married because I was raped in a Texas jail on a Saturday afternoon. Nobody should have ever known about that. But Houston was so corrupt that I guess they did. There was a transfer of knowledge from the inside of the jail to the what they call the streets, and it ruined my reputation. A prostitute attacked me and I beat her up. I did it in a blackout. I didn't know what was happening. Why was she attacking me in an alley? She was 6 inches taller than me, 50 pounds heavier, and a heck of a lot meaner. She had wrecked her mother's car. And then on one of the main streets in North Houston, and then had run away into the apartment complex nearby, screaming and yelling. So I went after her. I said, look, you got to come back here. You just wrecked your car here. I didn't know until later that it was a ball joint, that could be fixed. She ran the car into a curb. So I followed her into an apartment complex, and I put my hand on her shoulder in an alley. Hey, look, you have to stop. Wow. Now, this story's never been told before. I'm going to get on Twitter even. And twit is the British word for fool. So, I'm going to start telling the true stories. The real stories of what really happened. 50 years ago, that's my high school ring. My mother bought it the year she died. $89. 50 years ago. Then she died of cancer, and I never got to say goodbye either. The stories in my life just keep going and going. And I'm proud of that in a way. At least I'm not a nerd sitting in the school. I'm like Ferris Bueller. Remember, he goes out and does something. Beautiful day, 75 degrees, no wind, and we never want wind in the desert. Beautiful blue skies, calm, 75 degrees. This is the time of the year to really be here. Now, these YouTube videos are shorter. The purpose of the book is that wherever you are, in school, at work, here, modern day life is you can't talk to anyone. Something has happened with the media over the past 60 years, teaching the people to be these crafty, weaselly, creepy people. And we knew they were nerds anyway. From the Vietnam era, they were cowards. They were draft dodgers. What are you trying to prove here? But they're all trying to, I'm better than you. It's kind of creepy. So you have nobody to talk to. You're always being judged. You always be like a confidence man, it used to be called. They would try to read you so they could exploit you something. That would be a con man you would meet in the ghetto streets of Houston. Now it's everywhere. They're trying to read you, look at you, figure out what you have, overcome you. So I'm Mike Hayne, and I'm talking to myself to cure myself.